In the forest primeval, a school for good and evil. Two towers like twin heads, one for the good, one for the wicked. Try to escape, you will always fail. The only way out is through fairy tale.
There was one guy who was born in Rücken, Germany into a puritanical and religious family named Friedrich Nietzsche. He was the son of the minister and became one of the most influential critics of religion, particularly Christianity. And now we are going to talk about beyond good and evil, where we go beyond appearance and reality and beyond true or false. According to Nietzsche, the philosophers during his time were objective, which is free from assumption, free from biases, in search for the truth. According to him, the truth is preferable to falsehood, because no point of view can comprehend the absolute truth, and there is a lot of perspective, and the philosophies of philosophers were just a mere reflection of themselves and not the absolute truth. Nietzsche begins by asking for forgiveness for these two things: that all moral philosophy hitherto has been tedious and has belonged to the soporific appliances, and that virtue has been more injured by the tediousness of its advocates than by anything else. By this passage, he critiques the contemporary moral philosophers and utilitarians, suggesting it has been dull and harmed virtue by being boring. He is implying that moralists lack originality and are influenced by hidden motives like promoting English morality. In the end, they all want English morality to be recognized as authoritative in as much as mankind or the general utility or the happiness for the greatest number. They would like by all means to convince themselves that striving after English happiness is the true path of virtue. For Nietzsche, morality is a preference for him, so it would be immoral if they impose some universal moralities for everyone, because to him, that what's fair to one may not at all be fair to another, that there is a distinction of rank between man, and consequently between morality and morality. For instance, the people who are in the lower rank have virtues like obedience that does not match the virtues of the higher rank. Nietzsche believes that true moral progress comes from societies with a sense of hierarchy and class differences, where some people have power over others. He calls it the pathos of distance, and thinks that without this sense of distance and hierarchy, there wouldn't be a drive for self-improvement and the elevation of humanity. Essentially, he's saying that morality isn't just about making everyone happy, but about striving for excellence and overcoming challenges.
Welcome back. So today we'll delve into the profound philosophy of Friedrich Nietzsche and explore what he considers noble in the context of the human experience. So Nietzsche posits that an aristocratic case is essential for the ennoblement of our species. He boldly declares, "Let us acknowledge prejudice how every higher civilization hitherto has originated." So it's striking a statement here po. So Nietzsche suggests that the birth of higher civilizations often stems from the dominance of strong, aggressive individuals over weaker and more peaceful groups. But here's the twist. It's not merely physical strength that defines these rulers. So Nietzsche argues that their physiological power and completeness set them apart. They are the barbarians not because of brute force, but because of their profound sense of self and independence. So Nietzsche challenges us to think that what or that we perceive as noble is not just about strength, it's about the physiological prowess that shapes civilizations and defines the course of history. So as we ponder, we're reminded that Nietzsche's philosophy transcends conventional notions of morality, urging us to explore the depths of human nature beyond good and evil. Nietzsche's philosophy takes us deeper into the complexities of human existence, challenging conventional notions of morality and virtue. So Nietzsche famously proclaimed the will to power is the will to life. He argues that living beings inherently seek to discharge their strength, and life itself is driven by this will to power. But here's the controversial part. So Nietzsche suggests that exploitation is not a sign of depravity, but a fundamental aspect of life. So from the struggle for survival in the animal kingdom to the power dynamics within human societies, exploitation is woven into the fabric of existence. Nietzsche acknowledges that mutual respect and cooperation can lead to a semblance of good conduct among individuals. However, he warns against universal applications, arguing that it goes against the natural instincts for power and dominance, which he views as essential for life's flourishing. So, to Nietzsche, the attempt to refrain from exploitation and violence is not a virtue but a denial of life itself. He contends that such principles lead to a dissolution and decay of society as they contradict the intrinsic will to power. So, as we grapple with Nietzsche challenging ideas, we're compelled to question our conventional understanding of morality. His philosophy urges to confront the complexities of existence beyond good and evil, navigating the delicate balance between cooperation and the inherent drive for power. Nietzsche's exploration of morality takes us into the realm of dichotomy, master morality versus slave morality. Today, let's dissect this profound concept. So, Nietzsche paints a stark contrast between two moral frameworks. In master morality, strength, power, and domination reign supreme. The noble individual glorifies themselves, determining their own values without need for approval. So, the noble type of person sees themselves as the arbiter of values, confidently asserting what is injurious to me is injurious in itself. They are the creators of their own destiny, shaping the world according to their own will. In stark contrast, slave morality values kindness, empathy, and humility. It emerges as a reaction to the dominant master morality, resenting the values imposed by those in power. The slave, distrustful of the virtues of the powerful, questions the authenticity of their happiness. For the slave, goodness lies in being subservient, adhering to a morality of utility than self-determination. Nietzsche acknowledges the attempts to reconcile these two moralities in complex societies, yet he warns of the division and conflict that often hurts. Even in seemingly egalitarian societies, the drive for power and dominance persists, essential for life's vitality.
Moving forward to Nietzsche's critique of Christianity, this part is controversial from his statements because he condemned Christianity as a good example of slave morality. He mentioned a quote saying, "God is dead." For him, denying God and denying responsibilities from God is equal to saving the world. That Christianity is the most fatal and sinful lie to ever exist. Nietzsche said that Christians are weak. According to him, Christians are suffering from a kind spiritual malady that means weakness. Promises from Christians is to care for humans, so it pays attention to the majority who are sick and weak of spirit. Because of this, for Nietzsche, it seems like suffering and weakness are valuable. This summarized Nietzsche's criticism to the Christianity's attaining power, that losing power is the reason to push Christians to seek power by other needs, spiritual needs. But in the end, they wanted power, it's just that a different kind of power. Nietzsche criticized the Christians that they hold morality to a really high standard, ultimate morality that must be lived, the measure of all things. But, in his words, the morality is the most offensive kind of the generosity that civilization has brought to existence because it is the morality of the weak for the weak. Why does he say so? Because according to Nietzsche, when the time of Christians and Jews were oppressed and powerless during the time of Roman Empire, Christians are jealous to Roman power, so they wanted that kind of power for themselves. But they did not succeed in taking worldly material power. They instead made a virtual out of their lack of power. Because of this, Christians' mantra from then is, what really matters is not this world, but the world beyond the afterlife, wherein those who had no power in the life are convinced to have a power in the other life. That's why Nietzsche said that power is evil. It's very distinguished to have power and those have no power. He said that the war must therefore be a spiritual war. In the book, Nietzsche actually used the term recipe to enumerate how Christian morality is established leading to a spiritual war. First recipe he mentioned is that one appropriates virtue in general and makes it in the main feature of one's ideal. The older ideal is denied and declared to be the reverse of all ideals. Slander has to be carried to a fine art for this purpose. This means that the focus of the war is only one's own Christian virtues that automatically disregard the values that has the people before, because it is clearly wrong and opposing the current Christian values or virtues. Second recipe, one's own time is set up as a general standard, and this is projected into all things, behind all things, and behind the destiny of all things as God. This means like a role model that imposed to others on what kind of person should be and the core values that a person should have under the name of God. Third recipe, the opponents of one's ideal are declared to be the opponents of God. One arrogates to oneself a right to great pathos, to power, and a right to curse and to bless. This simply means that opposing a Christian virtue or values means you oppose God, and it is the enemy of God that gives the person the power to curse and to bless. Fourth recipe, all suffering, terrible, and fatal things are declared to be the results of opposition to one's ideal. This means that people who oppose Christian virtues and God Himself deserve whatever bad happens to them. Fifth recipe, one goes so far as to regard nature as the reverse of one's ideal, and the lengthy sojourn amid natural conditions is considered a great trial of patience, sort of martyrdom. One studies contempt both in one's attitudes and one's looks towards all natural things. This means that's why Nietzsche calls Christianity morality of the weak for the weak, because the Christian view is the complete opposite of the natural state of the world. Sixth recipe, the triumph of anti-naturalism and ideal castration, the triumph of the world of the pure, good, sinless, and blessed is projected into the future as the consummation, the finale, the great hope, and the coming of the kingdom of God. This last recipe means that the pure, good, sinless, and blessed, which are the triumph of the world, are considered end all the all, the finale, the great hope, and the coming of the kingdom of God. At the end of the Nietzsche's book, for him to make oneself abstract means to turn one's back on the world, which means Christianity persuades us to be contented to that weakness instead of growing, that we should try to overcome the sicknesses and weaknesses that Christianity rewards, because the thinking or the lack of positive faith is very dangerous. That's why for us to do not give up in life entirely, we need something to aim for, and Nietzsche encourages us to aim for greater things in life.